So let's talk about the cost of living in San Diego. Full disclosure, this is going to be 100% based on my experience here in San Diego. I think the way I live is probably pretty average cost-wise, so I think this should give you a pretty good idea of what it costs to live here. If you already live here and you agree, or more importantly, disagree, let me know in the comments. I want to see it all. At the end of the day, can you do it cheaper in San Diego than I do? Probably. Could you live here more expensively? Absolutely. This is my take on the cost of living here in San Diego, and I think you can probably expect something similar if you live here or you're going to live here as well. So San Diego is expensive. Newsflash, right? There is no argument against that. If you look at the country kind of as the baseline, California ranks about 50% higher in general. When you break that down further and look at San Diego versus the entire country, we rank about 60% higher. That's going to be 10% higher than the rest of the state and 60% higher than the country. Keep in mind, California is a huge state. Living in San Diego is very different than living in so many other parts of the state. San Diego is pretty desirable for living. Also, we are less expensive than some of the other major California cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles. Which one is better to live in, you might be wondering? Well, I can tell you there is a huge jump of Californians moving south to San Diego, not the other way around. Why so expensive in San Diego? There's a lot of great things that make up San Diego, but the number one factor is going to be the weather. I actually did an entire video on that. I'm going to drop that description or that link right in the description, so you can check that out after this video if you like. So let's get a little more specific. The biggest cost driver in San Diego is going to be housing and real estate, and it's a big one. The average home in San Diego, at least at the time of this video recording, is selling for just about 3 times the average price than the rest of the country. Meaning, if you took the country's average home selling for $231,000, you picked it up and dropped it in San Diego, that same home would now sell for $645,000. Give or take. Seriously, have you heard location? There are homes in San Diego for less than $645,000, but not a lot. For a decent single family home, I would be expecting to pay at least $500,000 or more. Maybe you find a deal, but it's not going to be cheap. Also, roughly 48% of the residents in San Diego rent their home, and it's actually a very competitive rental market right now. Average rents vary greatly, just depends kind of on where you want to live. The most expensive areas are going to be like the new high-rises downtown, or think like homes on the water or the beach, say like La Jolla, Del Mar, Encinitas. Here's a sample scenario for you. So let's say you're looking for like a newer 2-bedroom condo in the city. You're probably going to be looking at least $3,000 or more for rent, maybe much more, depending on if it's like top of a high-rise, maybe panoramic bay or harbor views, bay views, things like that. You could easily get a better rate by renting in one of the nearby communities to downtown, such as like Golden Hill, North Park, maybe going as far north as maybe like North Park, which isn't that far. So you'd save at least $1,000 or more a month, at least. Overall, the average rent in San Diego right now, at the time of this recording, is going to be $1,450 for like a small studio. You're going to pay about $1,620 for a 1-bedroom apartment, around $2,100 for like a 2-bedroom apartment, and around $3,000 for like 3 bedrooms. Like I said though, rents will vary wildly depending on where you live and who you're renting from. For your food and groceries, San Diego ranks only about 10% higher than the rest of the country. So it's not really that bad. Personally, I get all my food a couple different ways, but I get it to keep it healthy. I order the majority of my meals throughout the week from a food prep company called The Lean Machine. They do a great job, recommended. That gets me about 14 healthy meals a week with delivery for about $150 to my door. I could be saving more money but buying everything at the grocery store and make everything myself and save a little bit, but it doesn't really make sense for me. I'd rather be making videos than cooking. I do hit up the grocery stores every now and then, and we have all the major ones here. We also have many, or most of the neighborhoods and communities are going to have like weekly local farmers markets. Lots of the vendors are local like farmers. There's going to be like vegan specialty foods, specific health interests, like dog supplies, dog foods. They're all pretty awesome, so highly recommended. I hit up the one in Little Italy the most, but so many of them are great. All in, you should not see a huge difference in food and groceries though. Like I said, we're just about 10% higher than the rest of the country. Going out for dinner though, or going out for a meal can be a different story. San Diego has great options for dining out. We have good restaurants and we have great restaurants. The average meal at a pretty good restaurant in San Diego is going to run you around $60 maybe for two people. If you throw in some wine or beer, and get a little more pricey. Just depends what you drink and how much. If you go a little more on the less expensive side, you can usually get away with maybe $20 a person. I'm not really a foodie per se, but I have my favorite places. Hit me up for some recommendations if you need them, or better yet, let me know your favorites in the comments so I can give them a try. And just a quick side note here, and hopefully it's not too far off topic, but I wanted to mention the local beer scene here in San Diego. It's hard to compare like cost-wise with the rest of the country because so other few places are going to have it. And what I mean is that there's an incredible amount of breweries in San Diego. It's almost one of a kind. Not one of a kind. There's a few other great places. We have an incredible amount of breweries here in San Diego, and not just like any breweries, very, very good ones, some of the best. I mean, San Diego is actually known as a craft beer capital by many of the beer devotees. There are over 150 breweries, local brew pubs, tasting rooms, probably more, like scattered throughout the county. It's an amazing brew scene, and for a pretty reasonable price. I highly recommend checking it out. Some of my personal recommendations are going to be, I really like Ballast Point in Little Italy, Stone Brew, Little Liberty Station or Escondido is great. You try Green Flash in Sereno Valley. Hit up the Naughty Barrel if you're in East Village. They're all over the place. So many good ones. All right, so let's switch gears. We're going to naturally go from beer to healthcare. Healthcare is actually 11% lower than the rest of the country's average here in San Diego. California in general is about 5 or 6% less than the country, but San Diego even beats out California. If you're adding up those healthcare figures, expect to pay a little bit less than San Diego. Utilities on average in San Diego are just about even with the rest of the country. Just kind of depends on what you're paying. Just to give you an idea, so my utilities on a one-bedroom condo ran about $100 a month, and that included like electricity and gas. I paid about maybe $50 or so for water, which included also like trash and sewer charges. If you're in San Diego, or at least the city of San Diego, when you pay water, you pay for water, and which is the majority of that bill, and then you also pay for trash and sewer. My bills for electricity and gas were about the same or less when I was living in my 4-bedroom townhome, but I did have solar panels on that, so that helped out a tremendous amount, at least when the sun was out, which is most of the time. The water and sewer trash bill there was a little higher, maybe around $120 or so, which actually wasn't too bad because I also had like a yard that was getting watered with like a tiny lawn and everything. So anyway, not too bad. Internet San Diego, probably going to be for like good fast speeds, going to be about $69. I'm actually paying a little bit more than that because obviously I'm doing a lot of YouTube videos, and when you're uploading those bad boys to the net, you got to have fast speeds. If for cable, I mean, if you still have cable, it's probably going to be about $150 if you still have cable. But if you're moving here, you're probably going to be able to catch a deal from one of the big providers. All right, so let's hop right into transportation. Transportation in San Diego is about 20% higher than other cities in the country. Before you start breaking this down and wondering why it's more expensive, it's probably a moot point because unlike most other major cities, even ones in California, we don't really have highly usable public transportation. There's a trolley that's usable for a small percentage of locations. There's also a train and a commuter train that runs north and south along the coast. That runs about $140 to $182, depending on the zone, where you're going. There are public buses. If you have a bus pass, it's about $72 per month or so. That being said, if you need to get somewhere in San Diego, most people use a car. If you need to get around the city or the county, you're definitely going to need a car. Something else to know here is that for that car, your gas prices in San Diego are not cheap. Right now, and I just looked this morning because I knew I was doing this video, the closest gas station to me, which is a Shell station, is $4.49 for regular gas, $4.59 for the next mid-tier, and $4.69 for premium gas. It's insane. And they keep rising. So don't expect to save money on gas at all in San Diego. Let's hop into the taxes a little bit here. So California, taxes to be aware of. There's real estate property tax, which is due twice a year. We have sales tax, 7.75%. There's inheritance and estate tax. And there's going to be a lot of like local and municipal taxes. Independently, not too bad, but when you combine them, they can add up pretty quickly. We definitely don't live here in California for the tax advantages. All right, guys. So to finish this up, this last point here is going to be extremely important and something you have to keep in mind. You can't really put a dollar figure on it. Is San Diego expensive? Absolutely it is. Do we pay a sunshine tax? Yes. Did you know San Diego ranks number 12 in the United States most expensive cities to live? But we rank 6th for quality of life as indexed by city. To summarize this, people in San Diego are happy. We pay a little bit more, yes, okay, a lot more, especially in real estate, but people are happy for the most part. Definitely an aspect you need to consider. It's not all just about dollars and cents. I have been here for my entire adult life and I have zero plans to move anywhere else. Unless my YouTube channel continues to grow and I find myself in a situation like Graham Stephan did. All right, so I hope that gives you an idea of the cost of living or what it looks like here in San Diego. I love it here. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. So let me know in the comments what you think. If you disagree, let me have it. I love all the comments, good and bad. And don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button if you found this content useful or entertaining. I publish videos at least once a week, usually more. Have an amazing day and I'll see you on the next one. And before you go, right now YouTube is showing you a video. They're recommending you a video. It's not from me, it's from YouTube. They definitely have me figured out, so it's going to be right here. That video is for you. YouTube thinks you're going to like it. Let me know if you liked it or not in the comments. Definitely trying to figure this YouTube algorithm out. So curious to see if they got you. They definitely got me. All right, guys, I'm out.